So, has AI gone too far? It's a question that feels like it's getting bigger and more urgent literally every single day. And today, we're going to break down what that really means.
And look, when we ask this, let's be clear. We're not talking about some sci fi fantasy of a robot takeover. Nope. We're talking about that very real, very present anxiety. The one that creeps in when you're just using your phone or applying for a job or even just watching a video of someone famous. It's all about the here and now.
But here's the thing about too far it's not some single dramatic line in the sand that we cross. It's more like a gradual pileup of a bunch of different issues. Shortcuts and those, we'll fix it later attitudes. So, to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to break it down and look at what people are actually worried about.
So, what are those big concerns? Well, at the very heart of this whole debate are some pretty serious fears. We're talking about AI making huge, life-altering decisions. AI using our data without us even knowing. AI getting way too good at manipulating our attention. And, of course, AI making the very idea of truth feel kind of optional, all while concentrating a ton of power into the hands of just a few.
All right, so here's a really crucial point to get our heads around. AI doesn't, wake up in the morning and decide if it's going to be good or evil. It's just a tool. But, and this is a big but, it's an incredibly powerful tool that acts like a massive multiplier for whatever the human intention is behind it. So, if the intent behind it is helpful, well, AI can be this massive force for good. I mean, think about things like instant translation or spotting hard-to-see patterns in medical scans. That's amazing. But if that intent is sloppy or even downright malicious, AI multiplies that too. And that's how we get bias, fraud, and harassment on a scale we've just never seen before.
I love this metaphor. It just captures the idea so perfectly, right? The tool itself, the megaphone, isn't the problem. The real question is who's holding it and what are they going to do with it?
Okay, so let's get way more specific. Where are we actually seeing AI cross the line? I'm talking about three key areas where the harm isn't some far-off theoretical thing. It is happening right now. First up, high-stakes decisions. And when I say high stakes, I mean it. We're talking healthcare, finance, jobs, even the justice system. All the areas where one little error can literally cost someone their money, their freedom, or even their safety. This is where you get that classic computer says no situation, right? But with zero explanation. It's when some risk score, which, let's be honest, is just a sophisticated guess, gets treated like it's an absolute fact carved in stone. And the real danger here isn't just that the AI makes a mistake. It's that the mistake becomes policy that you can't even challenge. Okay, area number 2. This is the one that just makes daily life feel, well, kind of slippery. We're talking about the explosion of deepfakes and these incredibly sophisticated scams that are just chipping away at our trust in the very things we see and hear. And this really gets to the core of the problem. There's this huge unfair imbalance. See, anyone can cook up a totally convincing fake voice message from your mom in like seconds. But proving it's a fake? That takes time, it takes expertise, it takes energy that, let's face it, most of us just don't have when we're scrolling through our feeds. All right, the third area is a bit more subtle. It doesn't just explode onto the scene like a deep fake. It's more like a quiet flood. It's surveillance creep. It's how AI is making it ridiculously easy to turn our whole world into one giant sensor. With this stuff, AI can identify faces in a crowd, it can track our movement patterns, it can even try to guess our emotions. And by the way, it's often really bad at that. And the sneaky part is, this technology almost always shows up wrapped in this nice little promise of safety or convenience. And that makes it so hard to push back on or get rid of later. So, okay, that's a lot of problems. What's the solution then? Well, it's not about just banning the tech. It's about building better guardrails. It's about putting in place those kind of unsexy but absolutely essential safety systems that make these powerful tools act like actual tools and not like a game of Russian roulette. So what does a well-behaved AI system even look like? Well, it's defined by principles just like these. It needs to have crystal clear boundaries on what it can and can't do. It has to have real human accountability, not just someone rubber stamping its decisions. And yeah, it absolutely demands transparency. You got to be able to measure how it's doing, and it needs genuine consent from users. And all those principles, they translate into actual practical tools. We're talking about simple stuff, like having a human in the loop to review those really high-stakes decisions,
Or creating a clear, easy-to-find process to appeal an outcome? Or building systems that let you trace back exactly what went wrong? See, these aren't just abstract ideas. They are real, operational things you can build that actually change the outcome.
Okay, so how can you actually apply all this to your own life? That's what this last part is all about. We've got a super practical checklist to help you spot when AI might be creeping into that too far territory in your world. So for you, personally, just run this little gut check. Ask yourself, can I actually tell when I'm interacting with an AI? Does this app I'm using feel just a little too hungry for my personal data? And this one's crucial. If I got scammed or something went wrong, do I honestly think this platform would help me out, or would they just shrug? And hey, if you're on a team that's building or using this stuff, the questions are just as critical. Seriously ask yourselves, are we using AI because it adds real value, or are we just jumping on the trend? Can a person affected by our system actually appeal the outcome? Or are human team members empowered to override the model when it's wrong? And do we have a plan for when the AI fails? Not if, but when. Because, hope is not a strategy. And that really brings us to our final and most crucial point. So back to the big question, has AI gone too far? And the answer is yes, it absolutely has, wherever it's been deployed without any real accountability. The common thread in every single problem we've talked about is the removal of our ability to do something about it. The line is actually pretty simple. If someone can't appeal a decision, if they can't understand why it was made, or if they simply can't opt out, well, that's the big red light. That is where too far starts.